Hello my guys, gals, and non-binary pals, and welcome back to another video. So in this video, I'm going to be drawing drawings based off of dreams I've had, because I have a sort of kind of dream journal where I've already written down dreams I've had, so it's going to be really easy for me to describe them. So this video is going to be a little different because I'm not going to be talking much about the art I'm making, just going to be telling you about the dreams. Also, if you haven't already, please make sure you do subscribe. I have been posting less often. I think I'm officially going to bi-weekly posting, but that just gives you even more reason to subscribe so you don't miss out when I do post. And on with the video. So, here we have the first dream from October 5th of 2020. So this one's from a while ago. It started in the art room. The room wasn't akin to the familiar room of my middle school's art class, but more like a classroom found in most movies. Wooden desk up front next to the chalkboard, a sea of chairs matching the desk running down the room in rows, dark walls in need of a good clean. The teacher and I were really close. She would exempt me from a lot of rules, so when I was watching Sapnap's Lover Host Part 2, I thought nothing of it. We're going to move past that. The teacher called me to her desk and sat me down. I treat you a lot differently than the other students, and as a teacher, I realize that that isn't fair. I'm going to start having to treat you like everybody else, which means no phone. But lover host! No buts. Class passes by in a blur, and as soon as the bell goes off to mark lunch, I pull up the stream again. Me and my friend stay in the room to eat. He sits down next to me and studies what I'm doing for a moment. What's lover host? Oh, it's like a fake dating show for streamers. Here, I'll give you the Discord. The Discord was fairly small, which was impressive considering the view count. It appeared to be official with all of the big creators inhabiting it, but it is entirely possible that it was a fan server. My friend left me to watch and began asking on Discord about the show. Me and Sapnap were explaining the rules, yet Sapnap was still very focused on his game. In Lover Host Part 2, he and the final four from the last part all play a game. Sapnap was playing Minecraft with those four and was currently in the Nether. Lunch ended and I head out of school. My reasoning was unclear, but I quickly darted to a nearby store and tried my best to look like I'm buying something. In reality, I'm just here for a place to watch the stream. I hang out near the checkout, but that starts to get awkward and suspicious, so I began roaming the halls. I spot my mom and one of her co-workers there as well. I try to lay low and quickly snatch a cornstarch so the cashier doesn't think I'm a robber when I leave empty-handed. But Mom catches me. She purchases the cornstarch and leads me out the store. After this, I head to the club festival and began scanning through the various clubs. A few catch my eye, but they're all in Spanish. I end up just heading to the cafeteria for dinner and waiting. My sister comes by with her food and catches me watching Lover Host. Is that Sapnap? Yeah, I just really like Lover Host. He just happens to be on it. Sure. Anyway, what are you eating? Fried chicken wing. Where'd you get those? I could only find a leg. In front of my sister was a whole entire chicken that had been fried. No one was allowed to touch it. Near the Africa Club. Don't know why, but they're handing them out. So now that we've finished one dream, I have some things I want to talk about, because there is some context I need to provide here. So for all these dreams, whenever I write down stuff, I try to write it down as if, like, this is just how the world works. So, like, things like the existence of, Lover Host Part 2 in Africa Club. There is not an Africa Club at my school. I also don't even go to school with my sibling. So, like, things like this are treated as absolutely normal in the way I write it. Besides a couple things where I point out, like, the reasoning is unclear to why I go to that store, and like Sapnap was still very focused on his game. But in general, I treat like these circumstances as if they're completely normal. Because in the dream world, they seem completely normal. Also context for that last bit, where my sister was asking me about what I was watching, and I was like weirdly insistent that I didn't watch Sapnap. Because for a while when I watched Minecraft YouTubers, I was really insecure about it, so I just pretended I didn't, and yeah, it popped up in my dream, I guess. Alright, so the next list of dreams I have. This is actually 3 dreams I had on the same night, and I remembered all of them. Well, not all of them. I remembered those 3. I will not be reading all of them. One of these is really long. Like, really long. So if you want me to make a part 2, I can read that one, because that one's also probably the most interesting dream in this whole entire list. So it would be crazy and fun to draw and discuss. But I'm just going to read the other dreams on this list for now. And these dreams are from September 5th, 2021. So about a year ago. Mom, Dad, my eldest sibling, and my older sibling were all off on a vacation, leaving just my little brother and I. And my dog, of course. But then we got unexpected company. I heard a voice outside the back door, so I opened it. In walked 2 large black dogs, one with a more terrier shape and the other being a big, shaggy blob. Both of them clearly weren't strays, since they were well groomed. My brother and I turned to each other, shocked and confused. Where did these dogs come from, and what were we going to do with them? We decided to keep the dogs until we found out who that voice belonged to. After all, they would have to know something. It was hard to take care of these dogs. The shaggy one was vicious, constantly biting and using his size to his advantage. He would eat Angus, my dog's, food, and scare him too. The other dog was a lot better, but he had his own concerns. He would cuddle up on the Elmo branded couch we had, cover himself in a blanket, and stand completely still for hours. The first time this happened, I was sure he had died. A few days after we got the dogs, there was a big space expo happening. Some people working for some big space company were going to talk about some boring stuff, but my brother wanted to go, and my sister would be traveling back to see it, so I had to go. After one guy talked on stage for a bit, the expo started. I was just wandering around until I heard a voice. The voice itself wasn't really familiar, but the speech patterns were. She was saying the same weird phrases as the stranger outside our door was. I went up to the woman, not knowing how to phrase what I was about to say next. Excuse me, did you by any chance leave some dogs outside of someone's door? She flashed a smile of pity and replied, No, I heard that there's a problem of that going around. Me and my grandpa have actually been funding an investigation into it. I don't know much about who's doing it though, sorry. Grandpa. A lot of times speech patterns can be learned from people you're around a lot, so maybe he could be the culprit. I noted that suspect down and headed home. Mom and Dad came home the next day, and of course they weren't happy about the dogs. They said we should have gotten rid of them somehow, though I don't know what they expected us to do. They decided to let the dogs stay until the police figured out who did it and had an action plan for the dogs, since we apparently weren't the only ones being afflicted with new canines. Soon, we saw on TV that the woman from the Space Expo had been arrested for some money-making scheme involving dropping dogs off at people's doorsteps. And that was the end of the dog incident. And then we have the final dream of this video, which is kind of a joint dream with what was the dream that was just discussed. But I separated them. God, what a dream. I hopped out of bed and got dressed. I put on my binder, then my white and blue striped dress shirt, and then my crew neck sweatshirt. With the addition of a pair of jeans and some socks, I head out of my room. I smiled when I noticed that Grandma and Grandpa were already here. Grandpa sharing the leather armchair with my brother and telling him some story, while Grandma appeared to just be coming downstairs. I greeted both of them with a hug. We were chatting for a while in the basement, and eventually my mom joined us. Somehow, Mom was reminded of an experience she had with dogs. She told us the story of dogs getting dropped off at her front door while her parents were away, and a random space girl being at the center of it. She was describing my dream. While she told the story, I kept interrupting to add more details, like describing the dogs or the woman's speech pattern. Mom was confused, but not as confused as me. How did I manage to dream a past event with so much accuracy? And I never found the answer. Well, buddy, the answer is that was also a dream. But that is all the dreams I'm going to be discussing this video. If you do like this video and want me to do that part 2 I was talking about earlier, make sure to like, subscribe, comment down below that you want to see that video. Also, feel free to comment any weird dreams you've had. Weird dreams are always super interesting to hear about. Also, make sure you follow all my social media in the description below. And I will see you all in the next video.